Hi sir, hi classmates. My name is Danica Clarin from Section 1 BPA-D. Today I'm going to report you about the Chapter 7, which is Cogito Ergo Consume, or the consumer culture and the material self. Today our topic first is about the consumer culture. What is cogito ergo sum or cogito ergo consumer? It is also usually translated as I think therefore I am, which means it is translated from Spanish to English. Then let's go talk about when did the consumer culture start? It starts within 17th century to 18th century that emerged in our society. So in that between until now, it is continuing to emerge. So let's go to what is consumer culture about. The consumer culture refers to a theory which means it is the subjective emerisms, services, and also along manpower, which is also refers to the social behavior. What is the example of consumer culture? The example of consumer culture also stated the rise of the car in the 1950. World War II was over and people were moving in to suburbs, which means in that case, in the World War II, the car, or usually we have own or they have own cars that also big help to them to not commute anymore. And some of those people who can't afford cars are were going to commute to every day in their lives. So there needed a cars to commute every day, and there needed also their own cars for their service. So that's what about the consumer culture. So what is the impact of consumer culture? It is also impact on the environment, which is also consumption of buying or selling of goods driven by social norms, or responsible for 10% of greenhouse gas emission in the world. It is also helpful to us as a consumer or as a buyer to help our community or our environment to be more urging in consumption, and also it will be a big help to our greenhouse society. So, what is the buyer decision process? It has a five process, which is number one, the needs arousal, which means we will buy our needs only. We will buy what we need in our everyday lives. Number two, information search. Before we buy a goods or our needs, we need to search. We need to know what we need and what we want or what we buy in the market. Number three, evaluation behavior. You will observe first in your behavior of what you really like or what you really want to buy in the supermarket. Or shall we say, the example that I've been discussed lately or earlier about the car, about the services. That is one of the example of the evaluation behavior. And number four, purchase decision. What is a purchase decision? It is also a manpower resources. It also that a man has a right to purchase anything, has a right to decision, has a right to make it clearly to his or her partner of what his or her decisions in life or in their needs in everyday lives. Number five, What is post purchase feelings? Post purchase feelings is all about the negative side. Later, no, earlier we talked about the purchase decision, but this is a post purchase feelings that usually it is in the end or a regretful thing that a buyer or a consumer that is already buy that they didn't use it in every day for their needs, or just we say they are their wants, not totally their needs. That is the post purchase feelings. What are the characteristics of consumer culture? First, there are the basic characteristic of consumer culture, which is utilitarian or hedonic. Next is values, needs or values, commoditivism, and conspicuous leisure and consumption and cultural values. That that is the characteristic of the consumer culture. The commodity fetishism is also in the material self, which will I discuss it later to you guys. And that's all for the consumer cultures. And let's go to the material self. And now to continue our report, we will discuss the material self. What is material self? Material self is about made of everything. Um, that a person owns everything or call it anything. It means mine, or we will say he owns everything, his body, his soul. At long it is everything. That is a material self. That is a car, he owns a car, a house, a land, or a farm, or something that actually a material. What is a factor of material self? It is also consisting of family, friends, and relationship and possession, which is also lead them to be being selfish person, or sometimes they are selfless. But in this method of material self, a person who has owned everything that the another person haven't, they are called possession, or they called selfish, which means if they own anything, a thing, it's them, it's only them. They will not borrow, they can borrow to others, they're shy, they're introvert to be socialized about people's material things also. So what is the impact of material self? For me, the impact of material self is has two sides. It's, for my opinion, the positive and negative sides, which is also help us to be validated about our two sides. The one side is the negative sides. Do you know why there is a negative side when it comes to material self? Because number one, it is the selfish things. If we have our own things, we can go to the other person, or we can go to the other houses because we have our own, which means we have all our own things that the others also have and the others also haven't. And number two, this is obsession. Why? If you want that thing, you will really love it to grab it. You will really want to buy it personally. Like if you're addicted in a bag. You will actually buy it even though you're thinking just you want, but you will not need it. And number three, the possession, which is if you can't buy anything that you like, or it's just your wants but not your needs, you will definitely like, I'm gonna buy this soon, I'm gonna buy this later, I will be back. You will say that to that thing that you love or that you want, but you will not need it because it's just your want. So that is the three negative sides of being a material self. Number number one also in the positive side, which is it will help us to be a strong owner, which is we have rules to follow, or they have rules to follow because it's our house. So other people will also respect that we have our own rules and policy because it's our house, it's ours, it's mine, and it's yours. Number two, do you know why positive also give this material self? The material self give us two sides of positive. The first one is the unselfish. Number two, which is the unproblematic. If you have your own things in yourself, you will not borrow to anything or any person, or you will not disturb them for not borrowing their things that we need in ourselves because we have our own. And also number three, positive side is advantages. You know why it is advantages? It is advantages because in our life we need to be secured also. In ourself we need to be secured. We will have our own things that we want and we need in our everyday life. And that is also we call ourselves as a material self, because if we are not a material person or a material woman, material anything, then our house will not also be ours. Or let's just say we're living temporary in apartment because we don't want anything. We don't want anything that 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 is also comes from our money. That the money comes from our hard work. That's why I understand also the material self. So, what is the commodity fetishism? This is also concluded in the characteristic of consumer culture. This is also from the... So, that is my report for the chapter 7, which is the Cogito ergo sum, or Cogito ergo sum consumer. So my reports end clearly, and I hope you have learnings that you cook up in my report in this video. And thank you, that's all.